putting big money in Canada. There are things we actually can do fairly well for Canada, and we're actually looking at one thing now. We do not feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form putting our money into too long at Berkshire, and fortunately you don't have too long to wait on that. Generally, I feel fine.
Hi everyone, I'm Liam from Canada. As a Canadian, I always wonder about our Canadian economy and what you think about the Canadian economy. We got some beat down bank stocks right now, and I don't know what your opinions are on these. And I also wonder, in your 90s, the rumors are true, and you're still able to eat McDonald's. I like fast food myself. I always wonder, at 93, he's still able to eat those and enjoy the Coca-Cola. Thanks, Warren. Okay,
well, we've got a Canadian here, so we'll let him answer. First part, if you watch me, you'll see what I like to eat. I mean, go to it, Greg.
Okay. Yeah, we're fortunate to have a number of operations up in Canada. It goes across many of our operating entities, and then as Warren touched on, all the businesses that we have a piece of that we're invested in are up in Canada. So the presence is significant. We're always looking at making incremental investments there because it's an environment we're very comfortable with. Warren touched on understanding the U.S. environment, business environment, and I would put Canada equally in that bucket that we understand it and would be comfortable. And I would say the economy moves very closely to the U.S., so the results we're seeing out of our various businesses that report both their U.S. and Canadian operations aren't drastically different. There's a few that we're on the energy side, for example, we make very substantial investments up there in Alberta. But again, it's very consistent with how that economy is growing, and I would see it being very consistent with what we see here. Warren, anything to...
Yeah, no, we obviously... There aren't as many big companies up there as there are in the United States. But when we get one from Canada just the other day that I sent over to Greg too, when we see anything that's suggesting an idea that's of a size that would interest here and meets other requirements, we don't have any hesitancy about putting big money in Canada. There are things we actually can do fairly well for Canada, benefit from Berkshire's participation. We did it some years ago. Not that many years ago, but there was a financial institution up there, and they had a problem. As I remember, 30 plus, various other people that were kicking it around, and meanwhile the place was getting close to the edge for not a fundamental problem. Ted Weschler from our office went up there. I heard about it on a Monday or something, and Ted Weschler went up there, and we offered a solution in a couple of days to something that was getting close to the brink. So we do not feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form putting our money into Canada. In fact, we're actually looking at one thing now. They still have to meet our standards on terms of what we get for our money, but we don't have any mental blocks about that country. And of course, there's a lot of countries we don't understand at all. So Canada, it's terrific when you've got a major economy, not the size of the U.S., but a major economy that you feel confident about operating there.
My question is related to India. Indian economy and Indian equities have done quite well in the last 5, 10, 20 years. It is the 5th largest economy and will be the 3rd largest in the next few years. My question is Berkshire actively looking for opportunities in the Indian equity market, and what will allow you to buy anything meaningful there? Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. And I'm sure there are loads of opportunities in a place like India. The question is, do we have any advantage in either insights into those businesses or contacts that will make possible some transaction that might particularly want us to participate? I would say that that's something that a more energetic management at Berkshire could pursue, because we do have the reputation now. Berkshire is known around the world, and our Japanese experience has been fascinating in that respect. So there may be an unexplored opportunity in that area. I'm not the one to do it, but that may be something in the future. There are opportunities. The question is, does Berkshire have some kind of advantage in actually pursuing those opportunities against people that are using other people's money where they get paid based on asset management? There are plenty of people in the game buying and running businesses that do not really have our philosophy. They're going to get rich no matter what happens, and their payment may be based on how much they buy rather than what they buy. So we'll see how the next management plays the game out at Berkshire. And fortunately, you don't have too long to wait on that, generally. I feel fine, but I know a little bit about actuarial tables, and I shouldn't be taking on any four-year employment contracts like several people are doing in this world at an age where you can't be quite that sure where you're going to be in 4 years. Okay. But you're absolutely right about if you were energetic, had some way to become a buyer of a party that people particularly wanted to do business with. Japan was great. India and Japan aren't the same. I mean, I don't adapt myself terribly well to different. It could happen, Act Two of Berkshire Hathaway.